Thank you for Patreon now for donating to the Patreon.
Hey guys, Vanity Ezel back into the Card Fight Vanguard Ezel the Vanity weekly reveal. So hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to comment, subscribe, and so on, shall we? This time we have a good amount of reveals, you know. First up, the return of the Draco Tree cards have happened, and I've got to say, I was fucking right. It is always the 5th card of the slide, because literally as I was putting in, and I was like, this is the 5th card, isn't it? And it turns out it is. So that's something to look forward to. I think this either might be the last card we have for Final Burst, or we're about to get another few cards for Final Burst. And we have the new Unica line, which I am going to test play right after finishing. There'll be more example. I've already test played Unica, but I'm assuming once this video comes out, we're gonna have more for support cards. So I'm gonna do that video, and then tomorrow there will be an upload on it as per the usual, because I just don't care about my sleep schedule apparently. So let's go and get started, shall we? And just see what we got for reveals. First up, we have the Final Burst card I was talking about, Diablo Striker Greg. I feel like we all thought it was gonna be like some next level triple rare. In reality, he's a common, which granted isn't bad, but from my test playing of the deck, this is one of the most useless cards. So Grade 3 turn Persona 13k base, auto front or rear guard circle when you Final Burst, Soul Blast 2, counter charge 1, and this you get +5 for the turn. Okay, cool. Final Burst doesn't use Soul that much outside of like Jamel's skill, so that's a free counter charge. But at the same time, like, no. Like, even with the version I have now that has absolutely no counter blasters, unless your opponent is actively like counter blast on you, when I mean by actively, I mean they're not dealing you a single damage each turn. Like, giving Bruce 1 CB is dangerous. Giving them more than one is a death wish. So, like, in my opinion, unless your opponent is actively not dealing you damage ever, then you're good. But Greg, if you want to run him as a 2 of tech, go ahead. But again, I say they have to be like hard damage stalling you, so fair enough. Then we have Auspicious Magic Tautariel, Grade 2 stuff 5k shield, 10k base, auto one's revealed from your drive check. You may call this card to an open rear guard circle. If you called it, it gets boost for the turn. So essentially a grade 2 version of that one grade 3 from Bastion that literally has the exact same wording for its skill. So why though? Why? I mean, like, it's not bad, but considering I'm pretty sure this is meant to be for Hexa Orb, I don't know, just wants to see triggers. Because, you know, you're not, I mean, granted, you get your rear guard, but at the same time, you're increasing your hand if it was just a trigger, and also you're increasing your power more than if it was a trigger. So, I don't know, she's not bad, but considering it has to be to an open rear guard circle, it sucks. Like, if it was any rear guard circle, great, then you get multi-attack out of it, but since it has to be open, fuck no. Then we have Enlightened Age Dragon, grade 2 stuff 5k shield, 10k base, this new card for Branke, which I swear had 2 skills earlier. Act rear guard once per turn. If you Persona Road during this turn, Soul Blast 1, discard 1, this you get +5k for the turn, and then you choose a set order from your drop zone and add it to your hand, and then you choose a set order from your drop zone with a different card name than the card you added to your hand, and add it to your hand as well. And this card can only be activated, or this ability can be activated even if you Persona Road by a method other than normal ride. So like if you play the order, for example, which sets up your Persona Road. Now here's something interesting I have to say about this one. One, we're getting a lot of Persona Ride support cards now. I don't know why. Maybe it's like with the dawn of that one Regalia piece that maybe the Bushy just feels like, yeah, fuck, let's just give more Persona Ride support. But also, that is just a free 2 orders to hand. Technically, it's like Soul Blast 1, get 1 order to hand because you're just discarding one, then you're adding an order back, and then you're getting another one. It's not bad. It's really great. I just question why are we getting so many Persona Ride base cards. I think all of them so far have been grade 2s or grade 1s for each nation, or maybe I'm just fucking confused as hell what these cards are. But yeah, sure, 2 of 3 of, I guess, if you choose to run this, because again, free orders. Then we have our Draco Tree boy, who I actually have a theory about, but we'll get onto that theory when I read his effect. Fallen of the Draco Tree, Royd Akulizes. Grade 1 boost, 5k shield, 8k base. Auto when it's placed on your rear guard by counter blasting 1. You choose a rear guard circle, Draco Tree marker on it, put Draco Tree marker on it. Oh yeah, quick spoilers by the way. We all know this Friday, Jinky's fighting, and honestly, that's the only reason I'm still watching Will Dress. Literally, that was the only reason I watched season 1 of Will Dress. It was just to see Jinky fight, and my disappointment when he didn't fight, off the roofs. But this week, I'm gonna enjoy this one thoroughly because I've been waiting for this. But anyways, free Draco Tree marker, or counter blast 1 to get a Draco Tree marker, and then auto rear once per turn when your set order is played from your hand into your order zone. Counter blast 1, look at the top 5, choose to 1 unicard from the same grade or equal to your lower tier vanguard from among them, call to rear guard as the same calm as, and shuffle your deck. Now, here's my theory about these guys. All of the ones that have been released seem, and in my opinion, if I've been doing this right, parallel the second ride lines of each nation. Hear me out on this. The first one, the Dragon Empire one, activates when you retire during the main phase. Let's think about the Dragon Empire decks that retire first up, or like during the main phase. Nirvana, well, when it came out, well, kind of Nirvana, but most likely not Nirvana is what it was based on. Bav could have been it, but it couldn't have been Tamayura. It couldn't have been Overlord, because, again, those require outside support, which leaves Eugene. I mean, granted, it could also be Bav Sagra, but when I get to the other ones, you'll understand what I mean by this. So Eugene could have been the first inspiration for the first one. And then, okay, you could call it a theory. We don't have Dark States yet, but depending on what Dark States 1 does, it would either prove my theory right or wrong. Then there's the Keter one. Counterboss 1 to draw cards only placed in the same column. Okay, fair. That is extremely generic, but Bastion doesn't need that, and it's not a grade 3, which granted isn't obviously enough to call it's not Bastion card, or like based off of Bastion, but let's be fair though, it would have been a grade 3 if it was meant to be a Bastion ripoff. So, and I don't know, it feels like counterblasting to draw a card feels a lot like, I don't know, Hexa Orb is literally the ride line skill of the grade 1. Then there's, you know, Stoicheia, which involves orders for that one, and I can only think of one Stoicheia deck that uses orders, and that happens to be the second ride line Stoicheia. In this one can be coincidental because all of them except for Prison plays more than one set order, but I don't know why. I feel like if anything it would be Orphis. This skill makes it not seem like it's Orphis, but I don't know. If the Dark States one proves me right, it proves me right, and I'm gonna laugh my ass off, but if it doesn't, then fair enough. It's just a theory. It's a game theory. Let's continue. Then we have our promo, which is Flower of the Abandoned Castle Imposa, aka our second re-standard for Draco. Great Jonas 5k shield, 10k base, auto front or rear guard circle. When you soul blast 4 or more at the same time for the cost of your Vanguard's effect. If none of your units have stand this turn by your card effects, you may stand this unit, and if you stand this unit at the end of the turn, retire it. Choose a grade 2 or grade unit card from your soul, add it to your hand, and its effect can only be used if you had stood it by its card effects. So great. It has to be its own, by the way, so you can't just stand it by Bruce and still be able to, you know, use your skill. But great, you know, so you can combine it with Draco to swing with this and Rockagore first, and then essentially stand this before you use Rockagore. It is mandatory that you would stand this one, because otherwise if you stood Rockagore first, then you can't stand this one. Then you stand Rockagore, and boom, you got 5 attacks for your opponents at 1. Which all around is really great. It's not horrible, and it can fetch you out Persona Rides and other grade 2s from your soul. It's all around just a nice grade 2. My issue is I wouldn't use this for the sole reason of, you know, it not being a demonic dragon. We all know at this point why I would do that. If you don't, then you're new. Go watch like any one of my deck profiles if you're new that involve an archetype, and you will quickly get the message of why I'm not running this in my Draco deck. But fair enough. I'm not saying it's smart. In fact, I'm pretty sure I'm being the dumb one here, and I'm not going to argue that point, but we all know this is what I do anyways. Get used to it. 4 of the thing. Also, I just flipped off the camera, just so you know. And move on to Stoicheia reveals Burst Ps, grade 3 turn persona 30k base, auto rear guard once per turn when this unit attacks, counterboss 1, retire plant token, this unit gets plus 10k for the turn. Okay, not bad. Definitely is useful for Graphia, because that deck has so much counterblast to spare, at least the way I play it, has so much soul blast to spare. Fuck, if this was a soul blast 5 and get plus 5k for each one, I honestly would run this. Because again, I say, unless I'm playing against a nuke deck, Graphia has no soul problems, at least the way I play it, so great card. 2 of tech possibly, if not a 3 of, just because again, 10k, and you can kill your plant gauge that you probably have an excess amount of, because you can go from 0 to 10 in one go. I should know. I literally did a video where I did that. Then we have Unica, or Amaljester. Astere equals Unica. So, and I have a rant about the episode of Villages 2, but I'm not going to say it because I'm going to get destroyed in the comments. Also, people are going to argue me about this, but I don't want controversy on this, but I don't fucking care. Anyways, Unica, grade 3, turn persona, 13k base, auto Vanguard. When a trigger unit is soul blast for the cost of this unit's ability, choose one of your units, it gets plus 5k for the turn. So, yeah, it's granted they're only going to soul blast 3 times a turn, but let me tell you what. This is part of my rant for the anime, which I'm never going to say outside of this moment. She was holding back. Like, we all know she was holding back, and I tell you what, the way I play this deck, and right now I'm playing it without, like, any generic support, or, like, I'm just playing it with generic support. I have no support for her specifically, outside of half of a card, which is more Transrooter support than it's her support. I tell you what, based off of the way I'm playing, she was fucking holding back. Like, we all know that, but when I say holding back, I mean holding back hard, like, very much hard. Like, even just generic without support, she could have easily one-shot Youthberg, and I was doing that in my game with Youthberg. Anyways, it's auto skill, auto van when this unit attacks a Vanguard, Soul Blast 3, bind all critical trigger Soul Blast for this cost, and perform all the following according to the number of critical triggers in your bind zone. 1 or more, choose an opponent's rear guard, kill it. 2 or more, get a crit for that battle. 3 or more, get a drive for that battle. Great, so essentially once you Soul Blast 3 crits, you never have to Soul Blast 3 crits again, but great, you know, getting rear guard kills, extra crit and drive is amazing. And here's the best part. Here's the other reason I know she was holding back. Let's see, that's anime. They can pretty much control luck how they feel like it, and I tell you what, every game I play with this deck so far, again I say, at the moment of recording this, I have no support for this deck whatsoever outside of the generic cards that are given to like every Dark States deck. And I tell you what, this deck is consistently getting 3 crits and soul on first grade 3 turn. Not even like by me mass soul charging, just by me getting like, granted, a little bit lucky, but at the same time, if it's happening this often, I don't think it's luck at this point. I think it's just actual skill. So yeah, it's a good skill. It's good. Gets rear guard kills. Gets a crit. Gets a drive. Hell, you soul blast 3 crits from the start. From the very start, you've essentially got set up for the rest of the game. So by all means, go kill. That's what I love about the deck so much, and it has like no counter blast whatsoever. So feel free to run with what you feel like. Unica's amazing. 4 of. Then we have Green Scale Flame Knight Stradale, which I feel like is going to be an issue in competitive. Grade 2 intercept 5k shield, 10k base, continues front and rear guard circle. If your vanguard has not been attacked this turn, all your rear guards cannot be hit. So, technically speaking, what it means is this. You can swing into rear guards, but unless the vanguard has been attacked this turn, the attacks won't hit, which is great. So that means you can force the opponent to swing into vanguard. So there goes damage denying capabilities right out the window. But, you know, and I guess that's useful because, you know, it's probably for decks like Nirvana where if you shut them down by more than one counter boss, then they kind of can't do shit. But at the same time, I feel like this is like a 50-50 card. I feel like they could have changed its positioning to somewhere else, like another really weird rearguard circle, like, I don't know, back left. Because let's be fair, every nation at this point has a way to retire. I think that's an actual true statement. I think every nation at this point has a way to retire, except for maybe Keter, but Keter more or less bot deck stuff instead of retiring them, so that's an equal argument. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like it could have been a specific back row rearguard circle that isn't back row center, just for the uniqueness of it, but hey, it's still a good skill. Forces your opponent to at least swing into Vanguard once, but at the same time, for things that are, I don't know, like, require an on hit, you're kind of just blocking now, and because it just has to attack that turn and not hit, it means your rear guards can still die afterwards, so they can just poke and then just bully the fuck out of your rear guards. So there are plus and minus to him. He's not bad, but I feel like this thing is going to be far more useful and competitive than it will be in casual, if it's useful and competitive at all. So for now, I'm just going to say a solid 1 of tech or 2 of, and let the mass fandom prove me wrong. So hell yeah. Next up, we have Blue Deathster Shachen Asfu. Grade 2 stuff 5k shield, 10k base. Auto is placed on your rearguard circle. By soul blasting 2, choose a grade 2 strategy card from your drop zone, put it to hand. So are we just getting more versions of the grade 1 that we just got like last week, where it was counterblast 1, I think it was, when it's placed, get a order from drop? I don't exactly remember what it was. I just remember I got a set 1 back from drop to hand. But like, are we just going to get a multiple of these? Where's the grade 3 one going to come in? Or do we already get the grade 3 one in the form of that triple red that searches decked and drop zone? I don't know. It's not bad. Like, but at the same time, it's not needed. Definitely not needed. It's okay, but warrants a 2 of tech at most. Sadly, I'm probably going to put him at 4 of anyways because he has the name Blue Deathster. This is what I hate for set support. And I move on to our list for reviews for the day. First up, we have Amaljester Pipis Ukos Maloche. So grade 0 boost, 5k shields, 6k base. Auto, which is replying free 1 second draw card, standard starter, not special about it. The only thing I can really say about this is the moon in the background looks really cool, but we all know I'm biased towards this. I must say, after skimming through some of the Amaljester ride line cards, honestly, the deck is really good, and I don't understand why people were shitting on Unica when she was first revealed, because yeah, even though we didn't have support for her, it was the same thing as Bruce, where the deck is actually good if you fucking use it. But speaking of support, let's read his ride line. First up, this. If Bushy stopped after today, and they gave no more support from Amaljester, I would honestly be happy with it. You want to know why? They did finally what I've been waiting for so long, giving reasons to run the right deck cards in the main deck again. I miss this. I love it so much that they brought it back with this ride line, and I have more reasons to test this out afterwards. So now we have Amaljester Schwartz Spada, grade 1 boost, 5k shield, 8k base. Auto and wrote upon by Amaljester 2 round equals Dyna. By soul charging 2, if there's a crit among them, you get to draw a card. So great, it is a mandatory soul charge 2, but on the bright side, if you do end up losing a crit, you get a draw, which is nice because it also fits in with the deck's theme of soul blasting a bunch of crits for skills. And then active rear guard once per turn. If your opponent's vanguard is grade 3 or greater, by binding a trigger from your soul, it gets plus 10k power. Great, it can set up faster for Amaljester Unica. That being said, you're going second, of course, and not to mention the fact it's just an 18k swing, plus the skill of Unica herself, bringing her to 23. All around, it's an amazing grade 1, and I love this skill, and I've been wanting to get rid of Brainwash for so long now in this deck, because honestly, the version I have right now where Brainwash is there, Brainwash is just a placeholder, so fuck yeah, let's go for Sparta, or for Sparta, and I am so glad you have rearguard skills 4 of.
Then we have Amaljester 2 rank equals Dinah. Again, a solid 4 of grade 2 and sub 5k shield, 10k base. Honor wrote upon by a unit with Australia on its card name. So this one's different. It doesn't specifically say Unica. It just says Australia. So for all we know, that could actually be a completely alternate ride line. Though I know I'm just making suspicions, but still. Anyways, was wrote upon by the grade 3. Choose an Amaljester Swords equals Sparta from your soul and call that card and this card to rearguard. It doesn't have to be to the same column, but most likely you'll call it to the same column. And then act rearguard once per turn if you have a Vanguard Amaljester on its card name by counterblasting 2, or by counterblasting 1 also. Note that it says Amaljester on its card name, doesn't matter the grade, so you can use it while you're on grade 2. Choose 2 triggers from your drop zone, put them to soul and get plus 5k for the turn. Great setup. You can discard 2 triggers for your ride deck, one for the grade 1, one for the grade 2, and then immediately put those triggers into soul and get plus 5k during your grade 2 turn, and have perfect setup for Unica herself. All around, an amazing support card, and again, I love the fact that Bushy is bringing back the fact that they're not only giving rearguard skills, but actually giving rearguard skills that are helpful to the deck's playstyle. I know eventually they'll get replaced, but thank you, Bushy, so much. This is what I've been waiting for. I appreciate it so much, and I'm gonna go beat the shit out of every deck I play this against with now. 4 of Terra Diana. And then we have Kid's Peak Griffin, grade 2, intercept, 5k shield, 10k base. Unknown is placed on your rearguard circle. If you have a Vanguard Amaljester on its card name, choose 2 of your trigger units from your drop zone, put them into your soul, and then you choose rearguard guard circle. If your bind zone has a critical trigger in it, this unit gets plus 5k power and 5k shield, and is active on both press turns too, which is great. Because essentially what that means is it's a free bind 2, and again, just like with Amaljester 2 run, you do not have to be on grade 3 for this, so you can do it the second you hit grade 2, and you do it for free, which makes it even better. And then not to mention the fact, being able to hit 15k with 10k shield just by having a single critical trigger in bind zone, all around makes the deck amazing. I love it. It has an interesting playstyle. I literally cannot go wait to test out this support. So without further ado, I'm going to end it here. Tell me in the comments what do you guys think about this. Do you think the new round is going to be good? Great. Do you think we're going to get a third version of this, even though technically the grade 3 from before is the third version of that? What do you think of all this support? And what do you think the Draco Tree card's going to do, the main grade 3? Because I have a theory that he is nationless. Someone prove me wrong on that. Anyways, I'm going to end it here. I hope you guys enjoy. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, join Discord, follow Twitch, and I'll see you all in the next one. Don't forget to stand up your vanguards.